got something to show you. This is kind of a trend that I've been seeing in China for a while now.
Yeah.
Where you get guys, they'll put on a little bit of makeup and they use like a face filter, because these beauty filters are insane in China. You've never seen anything like it. You can take your phone, put it in front of your face, it will turn you into the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. Okay? And I mean, you can actually see an example in the background here of this guy.
Okay, this is a famous Weibo. This is not random. This is a famous Weibo guy.
This is a famous guy, so...
Just play it.
Yeah. So he turns himself...
It's a trap!
and it's a trap. Anyway, he uses these filters and he looks like a really pretty girl.
Pause it on him so we can actually have reference while I read this.
Okay,
so...
there we go.
So this Weibo creator just got... what's it called?
Suspended?
Got banned.
Oh, banned.
Or suspended, you're right. Suspended. And the reason is that in this band of sissy boys, as they call them, it still cringes me out. I can't deal with the sissy. It's not 1950s.
Sissy pants.
Sissy pants boys, or whatever the hell this is.
Sissy pants.
Sissy pants. Stop!
You got ants in your pants?
It's such a 1950s phrase.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Sissy, give me your lunch money, you sissy.
Yeah, it's like, go down to the soda jerk and ask him for a soda.
And then the kid's like, I ain't no gay.
Anyway, no sissy pants is what he said.
I ain't no sissy pants.
Yeah.
I like baseball cards. And meanwhile, he's got like Barbies or something at home. And they find out. This is like a plot to a 1950s like book.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, this bro likes
say that in a loose sense of the word. You know,
his
sister.
This is just like dude, and he likes to trick people.
Yeah,
this is a long time thing. You know, like the whole trans thing and all that stuff in the West, that obviously exists elsewhere, especially in China. But I mean, also in China, I shouldn't say especially, also in China. But the difference is that this whole trap thing, the trapping the people thing, that's been a long time tradition. Like you said, it's not a cross-dressing thing necessarily. It's not a LGBT thing necessarily. On Chinese internet, it's always been a trick. Yeah. It's always like some guy and he's like, turns out to be some like nerdy dude. You know, it's always been a trick. It's like an actual trap.
People are like, oh, wow, that's such a sexy girl or something. That's like, whoa.
Yeah. And it's
like, you got me.
You got me. It's always been a thing.
Yeah.
It's always been a thing. It's less to like get people like revved up and like sexually attracted. It's more like, gotcha.
Yeah, I gotcha. I'm actually a guy.
This is what happens a lot on Chinese media, especially on Douyin and stuff. And this bro got suspended. And there was a new memo that updated the guidelines for the sissy pants thing, specifically for video games.
Okay.
So let me read this to you. The memo says that any titles of video games, titles that feature queer, romance, or effeminate males are likely not to be approved for licensing. So there goes half of like Japanese games.
Yeah, because there's a lot
males.
of... and also, the wording they're using is no more androgynous characters.
Well, I'll keep reading.
Yeah.
If regulators can't tell the character's gender immediately, the setting of the characters could be considered problematic and red flags will be raised. Social justice people and people that are very much at the forefront of gay and trans rights and all this kind of stuff.
Do not support China.
More power to you, but what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Some of you, when you look at China as some socialist example, because they hate this shit, dude.
They do. The government absolutely hates it.
Let me read this to you again. If regulators can't tell the character's gender immediately, the setting of the characters could be considered problematic and red flags will be raised.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about...
There ain't no gender fluid in China.
That's what I was going to say. The West is getting super progressive and going down this thing of you know, non-binary and like you have different pronouns and all this kind of stuff.
78 genders or something.
That's and more power to you. You're in a free country. You do what you want, and I support whatever you believe in. Well, now the problem is that China is often used as a golden poster boy
for some reason
for social programs and what's it called? A progression.
Yes.
I don't understand. They're literally regressionist.
Yes.
So
like if you cannot immediately tell that it's a boy or a girl or a male or a female, then it's a red flag, and we're probably going to ban your game.
Please, you don't need to like worship the West or democracies or anything, but you, as a person that might be apt to support like gender fluid rights and things like this, you're in a country that allows you to do that.
How about someone who just
yourself?
How about someone who just supports freedom of expression?
Freedom of expression. Let's say
there we go. Because
if you support freedom of
maybe
expression,
you don't like that kind of thing, but maybe you're just like, hey, you know what? Let people get on with their stuff, so I get on with my stuff. I support freedom of expression. In China, there's no support for freedom of
I
expression.
absolutely support freedom of expression. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with something. Freedom of expression is key,
Yes.
and that is something China. But what I'm trying to do right now is combat all the people that are about to say, "Yo, China based."
They're not base.
No, the Chinese government's base.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me finish reading this.
Sure.
With these new implementations, they note that violent titles, which allow players to be good or bad, wouldn't be seen favorably. Okay, so if you can choose to be good or bad, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Some games have blurred moral boundaries. Players can choose to be either good or evil, but we don't think that games that give players this choice are appropriate, and this must be altered. So this is covering pretty much you understand what this is. This is not a new law. This is a blanket ban on video games from the West or from other countries.
Pretty much.
This also, I believe also covers cartoons.
It must do.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. When the government is controlling your games and your media to the point where they don't allow anything
Yes.
other than their exact message to come through, you're not living in a free society. Because if you're a creative type and you want to make a game, and you make a game about being, I don't know, a furry fairy or something like that, and you put it out there.
A furry thing.
Yeah, whatever,
Well,
you know what I mean?
A furry is like those nice
people that have a fursona and they wear a fursuit.
But they wouldn't be a fairy. They would be a...
No, but what if it's a furry with wings like Tinkerbell? It's a furry furry.
It's like a chimera furry.
It's a furry fairy.
They went to the furry lab.
Maybe they just got some fairy dust sprinkled on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
When they went for a yiff somewhere. Okay, and they got some of that dust on them.
We shouldn't know this stuff.
Anyway, the fact of the matter is, okay, at least it wasn't clopping. Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
there they go. This furry fairy comic or game that you make, you can release it. And maybe it won't be popular because most people will think it's pretty weird, but you'll
Like
get people that actually, are into that kind of thing. They can follow it, okay?
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You can go do your anthracons and all your stuff. Now, the difference
Is that what they call it?
they have anthracons every year. Yeah. And,
Sorry.
Okay, anyway.
We have some furry fans, I guarantee it.
I'm sure there's a lot of dragoning going on there too. I mean, in the parking lot. I just don't know why.
My God.
Anyway, the fact of the matter is...
Hide your cars.
Yeah, don't take your cars out.
Hide your cars.
Yeah, hide your cars. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, in China, if you were to be creative and you want to create some kind of little comic or some kind of online thing like that, it's not allowed.
No.
It's banned. You're not allowed to consume it. You're not allowed to make it.
It's not whether you like that thing or not. I'm still seeing in the chat people like, oh, well, I don't like the CCP, but that's awesome that they ban this stuff.
The thing is, you cannot take that attitude because as much as you might be wringing your hands saying like, that's great because I hate furry fairies and I don't want furry fairy stuff around me or anywhere in the society, you have to understand that they apply that to everything.
It's not just this.
They're going to apply it to your outdoor barbecue next time.
Yes.
You're not allowed to have an outdoor barbecue. Oh,
and
guess what?
They do that kind of stuff.
You're actually not allowed to have an outdoor barbecue.
No.
They're going to do it next time to the fact that, think about the fact that people are not allowed to own
motorcycles.
guns. People are not allowed to own motorcycles in the cities. People are not allowed to camp. Okay?
Yeah.
There are so many things that you just cannot do in China. Right. All your freedoms get taken away.
Or they're very much corralled into one state-run thing.
Exactly. Oh, if you can camp, you can only camp in this one kind of place, and you're not allowed to swim in the sea at night. And
correct.
And that's the truth.
Yes.
You can't. Yes. When you go to any beach in China and you try to swim in the sea, if it's like past 6 p.m. or something, you'll get called out.
Dude, if you try to swim in a lake in China, people scream at you.
Yeah, that's just you have to understand. So for people who kind of look at that one aspect and say, oh, it's good if they're going to get rid of this moral decay or something, you have to understand that they put an end to everything that you hold dear to. So that's
creativity
that's
and freedom of speech and freedom of expression covers everything. And when you take one of those things away, it's a slippery slope. That's my point. It starts to become blanket bans of literally everything that the CCP doesn't want. And it usually is just about government control. It's not because China goes, oh, I hate gay people. Or, oh, I hate furries, or whatever the hell they want to ban. It's because they think it goes against the grain, and against the grain means against the CCP, and against the CCP means against authoritarian
rule. And they think it makes them look weak, and it makes them worry about their fighting force, because they constantly like to treat the people as this resource that can be used against other countries, especially in a conflict. and they don't want the rest of the world to see China as being weak.
Correct.
And I guess if you saw this man over here behind you, this boy, this young man, you probably wouldn't be worried about fighting against him on a battlefield.
Sure.
Okay.
Because that's what China says. Foreigners are going to see this guy, and they're like, haha, China's weak. Meanwhile, it's like, it's the same logic. It's all about face. Remember, China banned motorcycles, and I kid you not, because they thought it made China look poor.
Yes.
So when foreigners go to China and they go, wow, that's a lot of motorcycles. China must be poor.
Yeah.
That's the logic. It's broken.
It is
broken. It
broken.
doesn't make sense. Do you think a foreigner gets off the boat or gets off the plane in Beijing and goes, damn, that's a lot of motorcycles. I thought China was rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what it is.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of weird things that go on. Anyway, so that probably will...
It's why top-down leadership doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That there are certain things that obviously shouldn't be allowed, like indecent exposure and so on. You know, in public.
Yes.
There should definitely be laws and rules against certain kinds of behavior and certain types of expression. But at the same time, somebody playing a video game should be able to choose whether, I mean, it's a fantasy, whether they're going to be an evil or a good character. They should be able to choose a character that's androgynous.
I should be able to play a girl.
Yeah. If you want to play a guy that looks like a girl or a girl who looks like a tomboy,
matter.
Why is that an issue? Why does it have to be stopped?
Matter. And I'll tell you why. It is just veiled attempt to get rid of all media from the outside world. Yeah. It is. They want homegrown media to be the only thing that people can choose from.
Good. It's very easy for them to point at a Japanese anime or a Japanese game, a Final Fantasy or something, and say, that man looks like a girl. Screw that. It's banned.
That's what we're seeing.
Yeah. And it's an easy way for them to force it out. You know what I mean?
China, I got to tell you, CCP, you're not going to get rid of gay people in your country by banning this stuff.
No, there's a lot of gay people in China.
Yeah, no shit, in every country. But there are people in China, and a lot of people in China that don't think gay people exist in China.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah. And that's the issue is, you know, I don't know if I've told this before, and I say this a lot, but one of my girlfriends in China, in the beginning, she had a very good gay friend, like her best friend type thing, right? So we hung out a lot. And he had a kind of a butch boyfriend. Yeah. And the butch boyfriend had to pretend to have a girlfriend to his family. Even though he was rich. He owned like a clothing company or something. He's a rich dude. He had to pretend to his parents that he was like engaged to be married and all this. And he would pay this girl money to pretend to be his girlfriend. Just so that he could be a gay.
One of my gay friends used to, if we had like a big gathering where there's parents. Yeah. He would always have to bring his friend that was a girl, and then they'd be like, oh, they've been dating for so long, and then he's like rolling his eyes.
I know.
It sucks.
And it's actually kind of an interesting story, because I don't want to reveal who this is, because it's someone that I know quite well, but there's this girl that I know who is still single, and she's way past the expiry date in China, because, you know, they have this thing where they say you're a leftover woman if you're still single by sort of 28 or 30, right? So she's way past that now. And her family will not stop bothering her about this, because it's like it's the biggest sin in China to not have a family, not be married and have kids by the time you're like 28. Right?
Yeah, it's like the end of the world.
So she's got this great agreement. She has a gay friend, okay? This chubby gay friend. Not a very good looking guy, but it doesn't matter, because she's not a very good looking girl. No. Anyway, no, the fact of the matter is she's got this gay friend. And they have this kind of pact. So whenever there's a family meeting on either side, they go to each other's family meetings and pretend to be dating. So she's single. She's not interested in a relationship. She's chosen her path in life, okay? So he stands in as her boyfriend, and she stands in as his girlfriend. And they constantly being pestered, like, when are you going to get married and stuff. They're like, oh, you know, we want to get the money together. You know, that. So they always have excuses, but it works out really well for them. Yeah. You know?
It does. And I actually ran into, this is the most crazy thing. A lot of guys that you'll find out later after getting to know them that they're gay, but they're married with kids. And it's devastating, because it rips the family apart, because they have to go live a secret life. Yeah. Right? And then usually their wife finds out and it causes some massive thing, but you know, then they agree that go do whatever you want, but then, you know, it's really bad. That, like,
the wife gets jealous because he dresses better than her.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Better taste. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Anyway, long story short, we're getting off topic. Yeah. It goes back to this. These blanket bans are going to kick China's ass in the end, because, and again, I'm never a doomsday guy. I never think that the CCP is going to collapse. We actually don't think the CCP is going to collapse. Sure. Their effect on the outside world can be mitigated if you're educated about them. That's why we do what we do. But I think these little things, these blanket bans they keep trying, are really gonna not rile up protests and things like this, but they're gonna make people start. It's gonna be the seeds of dissatisfaction.
But you know what it's going to do is it's just going to suck the soul.
That's the problem.
Out of China.
Yeah.
What little soul there is left after the Cultural Revolution and all that. People there are like everyone else, okay? They want to live a fulfilling life.
They want to be themselves.
The kids love reading comics and watching cartoons and
playing video games.
Pretending to be things, in the little time that they're given anyway, because they have to study all the time. But, they're just normal human beings, and they're standing up against this immovable rock of a government that is just bearing down on them all the time and forcing things on them, and they have to accept it. You cannot not accept what the government does.
Correct.
So guess what? Now you can't read fun, interesting cartoons anymore. Now all your stuff that you read and you watch is all bullshit nationalist stuff where they've got little bunny rabbits with communist outfits on, and it's some nationalist bullshit about waving a red flag and being proud of it. It's awful. So you're basically going to suck the soul and the joy out of society, and it's going to be hollow and garbage again.
Here's our hotel in Shaoguan.
Wow, what a view. One hotel I stayed in once, it had curtains. You opened it, it was just a wall. I'm not even joking. No one wants to watch someone else take a turd. Okay, I don't care how close you are to them. You just don't want to see it.
You don't want to see it.
Look at Mark on the side of the road, turning tricks. Hanging out with a hose. Hey, T-Milk. Hey! Stop! I got a question for you. Sure. What do you want? Hey, T-Milk.
What? I love that. That is incredibly cringe.
It's very cringe. Your writing style is an inspiration.
When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind